At Gamescom, Henry spoke to Senua herself, Melina Juergens, and Ninja Theory's own Will Potter to get a clearer vision of this day one Game Pass drop.
Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Hello, thank you.
How are you guys feeling? Doing well?
Good.
Yeah, it's been a really nice week. We've met lots of our players and everybody has been so welcoming. And it was just heartwarming and amazing. Like I will walk out of this event feeling like so full of love from everybody. So
it's overwhelming, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the biggest gaming expo in Europe. I mean, have you guys been before?
I was here a couple of years ago,
Okay.
Back in my media days, but you were here on a special occasion, weren't you?
Yeah, I was here 2014, I believe, when we were just showing the announcement trailer for Hellblade. And I wasn't Senua back then. I was here just filming behind the scenes for Ninja Theory. So yeah, it was cool.
What a journey.
You're right, a journey. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone in gaming go from such a transformation within one project where you go from a video producer to quite literally the face, the voice of a new IP. Was it a little bit scary at all, do you think? Or?
Oh, it was terrifying, and it still is. Like, I think I'll never get used to it. Like, every day before a shoot, I'm just so like scared, and it takes me a good while to warm up to it. But our team at Ninja, they're just so lovely, and they make me feel comfortable every day. And yeah, they're just amazing.
I mean, it's been really heartwarming just seeing the reactions. I've been welling up a little bit myself, just seeing fans on the booth just beaming with these smiles, finally getting to meet you.
Yeah. And they came from all over the world. Like, yeah, it was really impressive.
Yeah, I always feel like Gamescom this is where the world of gaming meets and collides. Like, of course, events that happen in like Los Angeles they're amazing as well, but Cologne is this is like the heartbeat for gaming for so many people. And meeting all the fans out there, is it somewhat inspiring the confidence in their opinion of how Hellblade 2 is coming together? I mean, we've seen a fair amount, I think it's fair to say. You guys have put out a few trailers, you've had some dev diaries which have been really insightful, but knowing that fans are ready to ride and die with you on this journey it's pretty cool, right?
It's absolutely amazing. They're so supportive and patient, and all the things that they've been saying to us were just so lovely. So they're really behind us and cheering for us, which is nice.
Yeah. It's great to see how much it means to some people as well. You know, the character of Senua and the world that we've created. It's been great meeting those people in front of us.
Yeah. I've heard that you've been really hard at work, obviously, bringing Senua to life in the sequel, and your whole team has kitted out an incredible stage for you guys to all work in. And it's cool that it's you guys, it's not just you anymore. This project kind of demands more people being involved, like actors and more crew to bring to life all the new things that you're planning for the game. I mean, what's it like stepping into the new stage that you've built?
Well, I don't. If people have seen our old dev diaries, they saw that we shot everything in a little meeting room.
I've been there once, actually. I visited Ninja Theory once, and it was really cool because you still had all the tape up on the walls of where markers are going to be,
and it's poles. Yeah, it was funny.
It's crazy to think that game came from that room, and now you've expanded it, and it's quite cool.
Yeah, and shooting it back then, it was such an intimate atmosphere because it was just me and maybe 3 more people, someone on the camera, someone controlling the mocap, and then an audio person. Whereas now, we've got this massive stage. We've got a much bigger stage crew. We've got a stunt crew helping us out, Lucky 13. We've got projectors that project the environment onto the floor.
That's really cool. It's amazing what they can do with that space. At one point, they built this rig to mimic a boat, just so that actors could feel the movement, and we had people with pulleys, and it really helps the actors sort of get into that scene and further kind of expand on that immersion that we're trying to achieve.
It's fun because I've seen the clip of the boat set up, and obviously the new studio adds more verticality to allow for new heights to be reached in the performances you're all giving, but it also looks a little bit silly because there's, like you say, people bouncing off of ropes, but I always notice there's one person who's got the most serious face on, and that is your new director that you've got for the game as well. What's it like working with her?
Oh, she's amazing. Her name is Lara, and she's just made me feel so comfortable on stage. Like, I was really, really nervous working with a new director, because obviously I knew Tamim very well, and he's taken a step back, and then going in there with a new director I was so afraid at the beginning. But quickly, after a few days, I started feeling so comfortable with her. So yeah, she's been really great.
That's an important relationship to have there,
Yeah.
I suppose, actor to director, and it inspires confidence for the whole team, and
Yeah.
you just know that you're under good stewardship, I suppose, to absolutely nail every single shot. And it must be especially handy knowing that you don't have to get it right the first time,
Yeah.
the second time, because if I'm not mistaken, this new stage you guys have, it's quite literally in the basement of,
Yes,
of
it
your
is,
current
yeah.
studio. Which
Yeah.
you can just walk that downstairs, reshoot something if you want to.
Yeah.
It's, pretty handy.
That's the amazing part. It's an iterative process, and if we shoot something and there's there's something we're not quite sure about, or we decide to change it later, we don't have to go off-site and book enough space. We can just go downstairs, and our stage team are amazing, aren't they?
They're so good, yeah.
Yeah, they
I
run
love them.
run a really tight ship. Not to make a pun about the boat from earlier. But yeah, it's incredible, and I love just going down there and watching some of this performance capture happen. And you see the individual finger movements on the screen, and you're like, this is so much further than what we were doing before. I can only fans are going to be excited to see the level of immersion and realism that we're now able to achieve with this game.
I mean, that's the detail that is almost kind of demanded a bit by how intimate the journey is with Senua. I mean, the first game, there was a lot of themes that, again, demand that intimacy is respected and that is communicated to the players, because you're obviously giving such an inspired and passionate performance that having these tech upgrades are incredible and allow that to come through even more. But as far as I know, you haven't had that for the whole journey of this development, and you've had some pretty unusual circumstances. You've had to capture stuff from home, because obviously
Lockdown.
Yeah, lockdown was something. Yeah. What was it like having to try and set up a rig at home as well?
Well, for me, I was living at a house which used to be used to have a quad room in the living room. So we had, as you could see, a very high ceiling.
Those are some seriously strong whacks. Who are you beating there?
This is me and my husband kind of practicing sword fighting, because obviously during the lockdown I wasn't allowed to see a sword fighting teacher anymore. So we were kind of just rehearsing with each other. And then with the help of my work colleagues, I also managed to set up a little mocap stage in our living room. So they sent us some accent suits. They taught me how to process the data and supply the team with data. And we did a bit of online directing, even with webcam and stuff. So it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about Ninja is it's such a creative group of people that even with a challenge like the pandemic, we were able to kind of come up with solutions that enabled us to keep making the game and keep capturing data even at the hardest of times.
Yeah. Before I go anywhere, I have to know, what is your dog's name? Because it's beautiful.
I've got 3.
3? Oh my, I don't even have one yet. You're killing me over here.
The white one is a husky, and his name is Kale, like the cabbage kale.
Oh, nice.
And then I've got a black and white husky, her name is Nala, and then now I've got a miniature English Bull Terrier puppy, and his name is Conan the Destroyer.
They're
Amazing.
celebrities in the studio.
I've got 2 cats as well, by the way.
Oh my God. I'm sure that they're all terrorized by the huskies, because I've seen how huskies behave sometimes, just screaming.
There's some characters,
Yeah, I like it. Not too long ago, obviously, during the Xbox Game Showcase, we got another little look at Hellblade 2. And this was maybe a slightly different scene than most game studios put out for a trailer, because it was very intimate, no combat, it was just you, yourself, there in the moment, experiencing the Furies again. What's it like seeing Senua's character in Hellblade 2 compared to where we left off with Hellblade 1? What's the evolution of Senua been like?
So she still hears voices and sees vision, just like in the first game, but I would say that in Senua Saga, she's maybe using the voices more as guidance, and she's not as terrified of them anymore. So,
It feels like more of a searching journey, I suppose, because there was some closure at the end of Hellblade 1. There was obviously dealing with grief and loss, sometimes not accepting it, but pushing against it. And now I suppose it does feel a bit like Wanderlust. Like, where do I go? How do I find my new place in this world around me? With, again, we've mentioned you guys have now got a full crew of people that are part of the acting squad that's there, and it's fitting them in around this new story and how Senua is going to act within them.
Yeah, we've got like an entire cast now. We haven't announced any of them yet, but I'm sure people are going to love them. They were really, really nice to work with. For me, it was a new thing because in the first game I was just acting on my own. But now working with other people was a very interesting new experience for me. But I learned so much from them. It was really nice.
Nice, yeah. Obviously, Will, you do have a new video that you do want to show us as well. I mean, why don't you talk to us about what we might see in that?
Yeah, so this was originally created actually as just an internal video to share with teams at Xbox to introduce them to some of the members of the team who they may not have seen or spoken to before, and hear about, what the game means to us, what working on Senua Saga is like, and some of our sort of inspirations and what is driving us to make this game. And we really liked it, so we thought, why not share it with everyone?
Yeah, I think that every fan, every Ninja Theory fan, every Hellblade fan always appreciates the earnesty that you guys come across, because you make so many of these dev diaries and peeks behind the curtain, and it's really refreshing just to feel like I'm on the level with a studio that's making a game I'm so passionate about. And I get to have that insight into what your journey's like, and it's obviously not easy making any game yet, let alone something as intense as Hellblade. But yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, before we head over to that video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for spending some time. I know you're hectic out here at Gamescom. You've been doing meet and greets wall to wall, but we have to do this again sometime soon. And yeah, best of luck with the rest of development.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Well, I'm not going to make you wait any longer. Let's roll the tape.
Hi, I'm Don Matthews and welcome to Ninja Theory. Today we're going to be telling you about Senua Saga Hellblade 2 and what it means to us as a studio.
Having worked through the first game and really was blown away by the response to it, I want to make something that the fans of the first game really appreciate and love as much as they did Hellblade 1. So it's very personal for me to get this right and just make the best experience I possibly can.
Saga means the world to me. I've been doing this project for loads of years, and the journey of Senua is my journey.
Hellblade was successful because we managed to tell a story about a character that players empathised with. It was a really interesting project to work on, to try and bring some of those lived experiences to life visually, and I think players connected with that, and it felt different to other games that were out there. I also think people are going to be surprised by the graphical quality we're trying to achieve in this. It's a big step up for us.
Real big difference, I think, between this game and the first game is that we're opening up the kinds of delusion and psychosis that we're exploring. The first one was very much about presenting Senua's point of view there, but in the second game we're going to move into how psychosis and delusion operate on a more grand level, on a societal level, in fact, and that's been really interesting to tackle, and I think it's a really important theme.
Hellblade ultimately tells the story of Senua, and Senua is a person who experiences psychosis. And in Hellblade 1, Senua was understanding those experiences for the first time, much like our players. She was coming to terms with the voices that she hears, the unique visions that she has, and the beliefs that only she has about the world around her. In Hellblade 2, those experiences haven't gone away, but Senua has a different relationship with them. She is no longer submissive to them, and the balance of power has changed. So she still hears voices, she still has visions, she still has unique beliefs. In Saga, we're really beginning to understand how Senua can use her unique and outside perspective to her advantage, and how she starts to be valued for that different take that she has.
In Saga, we are taking Senua to settlement era Iceland. So at this time in Iceland's history, it had been colonized by settlers from Norway and Denmark. A lot of people who had been Vikings at one point and had taken this opportunity to kind of find a new home in Iceland, to carve out a piece of the land for themselves. All the locations you'll see are real places in Iceland. We've been there, we've photographed them, and then we've recreated them as accurately as possible. Overlaid on top of that, we've put our spin on Senua's journey through this space. So we're kind of taking Iceland's history up to a point and being as faithful as possible, and then from that point onward, we're introducing some more fictional elements.
Although we've got a bigger budget for Saga and a lot more resource, we've got brand new studio, new mocap space, I think we're still trying to come up with creative ways of doing things. We're not just relying on, we've got more people and more budget. It's how do we do something with the resources we now have that is meaningful and isn't just a bigger, better version. We want to keep that philosophy from how we made the first game moving into this one.
To me, Saga is everything. It's defining for us as a studio, and it's defining for me as a studio head. And I look forward to that moment, that day when we give players the opportunity to experience Senua's journey, and we will do everything in our power to make that as meaningful as we can and to achieve that magic that we've achieved before.